A passenger was infected with a strange virus. The blood blisters on his face kept growing. He returned to his seat, and his breathing became more rapid. At first, no one paid attention. But when the plane shook violently, he grabbed a paper bag and began vomiting. The sour smell quickly filled the cabin. A flight attendant noticed something was wrong and came over. The man weakly handed her the paper bag. When she went to the restroom and poured the vomit into the toilet, she was shocked. It was full of bloody liquid mixed with pieces of organs. He was rushed to the hospital, but after a long check, doctors still couldn't find the cause. Suddenly, the assistant noticed blood blisters also appeared on his arm, and his pupils began to dilate. Seeing that the man was about to die, the doctor tried to open his mouth and insert a breathing tube. But no matter how hard he tried, the tube wouldn't go in. It felt like something was blocking the throat. The doctor pulled the tube out and lowered his head to take a closer look. Suddenly, a mouthful of vomit sprayed all over him. The doctor realized it was serious, but it was already too late. Sure enough, a few days later, the doctor died in the hospital from the same symptoms. At that time, no one knew the terrifying virus was already spreading fast across Africa. Meanwhile, in a US military virus lab, a researcher received a blood sample and ran a comparison. Under the microscope, the virus looked very similar to level 4 Ebola. To confirm, the woman and her partner entered the level 4 lab. They wore full protective suits and stepped in carefully. The woman first tested it against the Marburg virus, but after the test, the result was not positive. Her partner felt relieved and said it was not a virus, but the woman felt more and more uneasy. She opened the freezer and took out another sample. It was Ebola, one of the deadliest viruses in the world, with a fatality rate over 90%. Just then, her assistant noticed a cut in her protective suit, with virus-stained blood on it. The woman panicked. She put down the sample and quickly called for a lockdown. The lab sounded a red alert and began spraying disinfectant everywhere. The woman was terrified. Her mind was full of thoughts of death. Staff rushed in to check her wound and saw that it was bleeding. The woman explained that the wound had been there before, but it was against the rules to handle viruses while injured. To be safe, she was placed in quarantine. After hearing what happened, the colonel suspended her from work. But the woman didn't give up. She kept telling the colonel that the virus might be a mutated version of Ebola. Unfortunately, the sample had been destroyed by the emergency disinfection system. Even though she stood by her judgment, she had no proof left, and the virus had already reached America.